Long time no see. It's been a while. So a lot has changed in the last, gosh, what has it been? Like a year? Like a year and some change or something. I like change. So yeah, let's talk about all these changes that I've made in the boutique. I moved across the country. I had a baby. I grew an amazing team with Honey and Lace. And then Honey and Lace changed to Piphany. Then ultimately I decided that Piphany was not a good fit for me. I'm now with a company called Paisley Raye. So let's talk about why I left Piphany. What was I thinking? What was going through my mind when I did that? So I was just about to have my baby, and Honey and Lace announced that they were changing their name. It was a scramble. I did my best to make everything positive and to just try to, see the good and everything that was happening and all the changes, because, when I signed up for Honey and Lace, I knew there were going to be a lot of changes. I knew that ultimately it wouldn't be the same company that I signed up for a year down the line, but I guess I just didn't really, it would have been hard for me to see the scope of changes, and I felt like with some of the changes that came really quickly, it was kind of like the rug being pulled out from under us, and that was really hard because I had a lot of women looking to me for support, and I couldn't support them because I was feeling equally unsupported. So yeah, there's that. So Honey and Lace became Piphany. I figured, over time we would change up our styles a little bit, we would change up our branding a little bit. Didn't expect a name change, but it is what it is. But it was a lot of change all at once, and so my team was kind of freaking out. And I had a newborn to deal with. So in November, they announced that they were going to do an advisory council, and I got a phone call from the new CEO of Piphany, and he invited me to be a part of this advisory council. I would have to sign a non-disclosure agreement, and I'd have to do some traveling. As a leader, it was a really big deal. It was something that I didn't really have the energy for. I had a 2-month-old baby. I didn't really have the time for. I also had another 2 toddlers at home, as well as a husband. I didn't really have the resources to do it, but I thought, well, this is my shot to make this work for me and for my team. I was feeling like it wasn't that the company was out to get us or anything like that. They just didn't really see from a stylist consultant perspective kind of how difficult these changes were and how they really were affecting our businesses on a smaller scale. So I thought, well, if I can be part of this council, I can kind of bring some of those issues to light and talk through it with home office, talk through it with corporate, and hopefully I can affect better decisions in the future. I flew to Salt Lake City with my baby and sat in meetings, just really hashing out all the issues and getting it all laid out. I was feeling pretty good when I left. We had really laid out a lot of the issues. We hadn't really had time to work through everything, but corporate was more aware of what was going on in the field. They had a better understanding of what our struggles were as leaders and what our team struggles were. And as leaders, everybody on the council, I feel like, I can't really speak for everybody, but I feel like overall we felt really good leaving, and things were really going to start getting better, and we were really affecting some positive change. And I don't want to speak for the whole company. I don't want to speak for every leader in the company, because obviously there are several leaders still there who feel confident in the company. But I started losing confidence, and so I had to make a decision both as a businesswoman and as a leader. So my first move was to remove myself from the advisory council. I saw that I wasn't really accomplishing what I came to accomplish, and my team needed me, my babies needed me. So I decided, you know what, I will take that commitment off my plate and focus on my business, focus on my team, focus on my family, and it was good. I felt a huge sense of relief after I left the council, and so I thought, okay, well, maybe that's all I needed was to leave the council and let the leaders who are still there take care of all the change. I'd already said my piece. They knew kind of where I stood with everything. The benefits for me in Honey and Lace were that I could run an individual business. I could have a website, an e-commerce site that I designed myself, customize it completely how I wanted it to be, that I could run a really professional, beautiful business, but still have a direct sales company sourcing my products for me and helping me with customer service and kind of helping along the way. But Piphany wasn't really serving me in those ways. At least I didn't feel like I was being served in those ways anymore. And now they wanted to change the business model to something that was really the opposite of what I wanted to do all along. I am not by any means saying that Piphany is not the right company for anybody. I'm not saying it's a bad company. I'm not saying anything like that. I had struggles as a leader, and in the end, it wasn't a good fit for me as a business owner. So that's why I left Piphany. I started looking at other direct sales clothing companies. This is fun for me. I really love doing this. So my friend and I found a really great smaller company. You know me, I'm all about ground floor opportunity. I love the opportunity to help build and to help mold and shape a company. And I feel like when you're part of that really small original group, you get to kind of do that. Your voice is heard a little bit louder than it would be if you were 1 in 1,000 versus 1 in 100. I was fortunate enough to get to have a conversation with the owners of Paisley Raye before I signed up. And they were very transparent with me, very open and honest. I felt like, you know what? Is it possible that the same thing could happen again? Absolutely. When you join a really small ground floor opportunity, it's always possible that you're not going to be happy with the changes that are made. That's just part of the risk that you take. So I knew that it was going to be a risk and that there might be changes that I wasn't happy with. But at the end of the day, there's no reward without risk. So I felt like, you know what? I really love the clothes. It's beautiful. It's beautifully made. Like, the fabrics are wonderful, and they've just done an amazing job on all these designs. And so I felt like, you know what? It is a risk. There could be some big changes that I'm not happy with in the next 3, 6, 9, 12 months. I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen, but I'm happy to join along for the ride. I had a really, really fun time with Honey and Lace. I absolutely loved that company. It was an amazing opportunity, and I built this amazing team of people who I just absolutely adored. And I was so invested in their success that it really broke my heart to have to leave them. I just tried to really listen to, you know, why am I doing this? What made me want to do a fashion boutique? What made me want to grow a team and become a leader? When I was looking at the two, I felt like, which company aligns with that why better? Which one do I feel like I really have like a deep connection with what they're doing? And I felt like it was absolutely Paisley Raye. I felt like Ruth and Christy really have good hearts and good heads on their shoulders, and that they really want to see their stylists succeed, and they truly care about women and about their success and about building businesses. The reason why I really do all this is that I love to see people succeed, especially people who come from a really challenging place. Young moms who are at home with 3 babies all day, yeah, that's a tough one. So for me to be able to grow the business that I've grown doing that, I felt like I really wanted to share that opportunity. And that's why I grew the team that I did, was because I knew if I could do it, they could do it. Absolutely. And I feel like Ruth and Christy really see that too. It's amazing what you can do in direct sales. The camaraderie that you can have, the community, the friendships, and all of that is so important, especially to young moms. And so that's kind of who I really connect with, and I felt like this opportunity, Paisley Raye, really connects with that as well, especially since it was built based on that same thing. So if you have any questions about Paisley Raye, or if you want to know a little bit more about my story or anything like that, you're always free to get in touch with me. You can find me on Facebook at The Southern Sartorial, or you can email me hello@southernsartorial.com. I'm always happy to chat with you. I know that it's been a long ride, and some of you, even though I've made a YouTube video in a year, you've still been following me on other social media platforms. And I just really appreciate you sticking it out with me and seeing what I'm doing and all these changes. I know it's just been so much madness in the last year with the new baby, the move across the country, the new company name, and then another new company. I appreciate you coming along for the ride, and I really hope that you're excited about Paisley Raye like I am, and that you love these styles as much as I do, because I truly think that they are amazing and so flattering, so flattering. So yeah, and I'm just gonna put my hands in my pockets, because this dress has pockets. This dress has pockets, and that's amazing.